Speaking freedom. Speaking freedom. Giving you the answers to be free. Be free. Be free. 'Cause we're speaking freedom. And we're live online with Kaci.
Okay, so I am trying to make up for the lack of videos that I've done, but really are just my thinking about different topics. But yesterday, when I did 2 other videos, after I finished them, I was thinking like, man, I should do a video about how to maintain your emotional state over and understanding your feelings, because I can be very detached and disconnected emotionally, and I know how to disconnect my feelings, which can be very dangerous. And then right after, I was thinking like, man, I need to share with people how to emotionally disconnect, because some people be like, well, how do you just turn your feelings off? And I'm like, shit, how do you turn your feelings on for me? You know what I'm saying? Like, so after I was thinking that, one of my homegirls from my old church posted something. She's a Scorpio, and she's like, man, Scorpios know how to super detach. Like, they will treat you like you don't fucking exist, basically. That's not the thing, and it will be posted in the next couple of days, because it is a part of the episode or whatever. And I was like, man, I am like that. Like, she's like, I don't know if it's a gift or a curse. And it's a blessing to be able to detach from your emotional state and to be able to control how you feel or how you express how you feel. But it is definitely borderline a bad thing, because as you begin to learn how to detach and not allow things to affect you, man, it changes how you deal with people, and it changes how you begin to allow your feelings to show. Like, listen, I am different from a lot of people in the instance of, I have to have a reason to feel. I have to have a reason to want to be emotionally involved with anything in order for me to feel like I'm connected to it. And I think some of it is because I've had 2 very extremely distant parents my entire life that I had to emotionally disconnect from in order to really maintain my sanity. Because, you know, like with my mom, she just wasn't emotionally available. Even now, she has a problem emotionally connecting and really being a mother. And with my dad, he's the same thing. Now, listen, both of my parents are both Capricorns. They both born one day after the other, and they are close to Aquarius, so I think that's the next sign. So I don't know if it's like them and their zodiac, but having 2 Capricorn parents and dating a couple of Capricorn guys made me like not really like Capricorns like that. Like, we've had times where like those people I can get along with, but the relationships that I've had with people that are Capricorns have been some of the most strained relationships. Now, I don't know too many Capricorns that are born like close to being a Sagittarius, and the ones that I've had known, when they were loyal, they were some good people. So and I'm saying that because both of my parents are Capricorn. So dealing with my parents, and both of them, my dad not really being present like that, and then my mom, I lived with her but she never lived like that with me. She always had other shit going on, work night shift, then be gone during the day gambling or doing whatever the fuck that she used to be doing. So over the years, I had to learn to kind of maintain my peace, for lack of better terms, or, you know, like learn to be self-sufficient. I didn't have the opportunity to learn how to really be emotionally connected to my parents. And not being emotionally connected to my parents is a whole thing, because if you're not emotionally connected to your parents, then it would be hard to emotionally connect to other people. So over the years, like, it started out with me being too attachable. Like, I would just, I don't want to say I would fall in love easy, because it really wasn't that I was falling in love easy. It's that I've always been eager to, open to believe what people tell me. So if you tell me you fuck with me, then, especially for a long time growing up, because I used to go and stay with a lot of people. So I would just take it as, you know what I'm saying, they liked me or cared for me or cared about me because they would let me stay over their house or come by their house or whatever. And what I realized is, two things I realized. One, a lot of people are going to be nice to you and treat you away if your parent is paying people to allow you to be around. And my mother used to do that a lot growing up. She would just, you know, like, hey, can Kaci come over and, like, if she's going to stay over here, I'm going to give y'all a couple $100 to make sure that she's not causing a problem or whatever. So I believe that a lot of people just dealt with me because they knew it was perks that came with me. And so over the years of just being over at people's house, I learned to adapt to people well. I learned to, which adapting to people well oftentimes made me feel like that they fuck with me probably more than they did. So I used to always think that, you know, people just love me. People always warm up to me. And it made me, I want to say, vulnerable growing up, because I just felt like, you know, all people were good people. And it took a long time for me to learn that some people are really shysty. Some people have no integrity, and some people will deal with you as long as you come up to them, and they have no good intentions for you. So when I started, you know, like, it really, honestly, I didn't really get like this sense of detachment from my emotions and allowing my feelings to control me, instead of being controlled by my feelings, until I was like 30, until I moved here the last time into this house. And it took me to be disappointed by church and religion. It took me to be disappointed, and not just disappointed, but really accepting things for what they were instead of what I was hoping that they could be. And this is the problem. Now, that part I'm going to talk about more on this video, because I still have had to learn how to not make things be what I want them to be and see things for what they really truly are. Because a lot of times people in general get emotionally attached to other people because you're believing that they are going to treat you like they treat them. You expect you from people that can't even be themselves. They don't even know who they are anymore. Especially with so many people pretending to be things that they're not and changing who they are to become what other people like more. It's really difficult. So one of the things that I wanted to really touch on in this video, now that I've given you a little backstory about how I got to this point, is the difference between feelings and emotions. Is your feelings are like sensors. It's like your senses in your body. And when you feel something, a lot of people don't learn how to say, okay, what is it that I'm feeling and why am I feeling that way? Whether it's jealousy, whether it's distrust, whether it's if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling happy, if you're feeling like, everybody knows when they're sad. I mean, when they're happy, when they're sad. Everybody knows when they're angry, but people don't process what made them angrier. You know what I'm saying? How to deal with those feelings of anger or anger outbursts. Because just because I get upset, angry, or mad does not mean that I should have an emotional reactions. Now, when I think feelings, I think I'm gonna put up a feeling wheel at some point. When I think feelings, I think of the emotional capacity of within yourself that tells you when something is good, bad, or indifferent, when something is pleasing, when something is displeasing, and all of that type of that range of thinking. But when I think of emotions, I think of the actions that are aligned with or that are known to go with those feelings. So I may feel something, but the emotion is how I react to what I'm feeling. So that's the difference. Your feelings are your internal sensors to good, bad, or indifferent, whether it's something that brings you joy, that gives you peace, that makes you upset, that makes you feel loved, that makes you feel cared for, that makes you feel rejected, that makes you feel, you know what I'm saying, validated within yourself. Though your feelings are based on you. Now, everybody does not learn how to process feelings. Some people, if they feel sad, people tell them, you ain't supposed to be sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with boys. Boys ain't supposed to be sad, ain't supposed to cry, and da-da-da-da-da. But then, when people become emotional, and it's an emotion, so it's emotions based on your feelings. When you start moving based on your feelings, then you may move and do things based on how you feel. And those feelings will leave, but the actions that you did will remain and will, you know what I'm saying, linger on forever. So it's important to disassociate your feelings from your emotional reactions. Now, I'm not saying if you feel sad, don't cry. If you feel sad and you want to cry, cry. But don't feel sad, want to cry, and then do something crazy because you're feeling sad at that moment. Don't feel sad and want to cry and then try to kill yourself. Try to understand your sadness. Try to understand what is making you sad, and how to overcome that sadness. Because sometimes it's just that we misinterpret or misunderstand something that's being done or something that's being said. And then in that, we internalize things that have nothing to do with us at all. Like if somebody cheat on you, it could be some things that happened in the relationship that made that person act out that way. However, a person's actions normally have nothing to do with you. That's them choosing to do whatever it is they're choosing based on however it is they're feeling and whatever emotional response they desire to receive or to have. So, you know, a lot of people, especially when I hear people ask for advice, they be like, well, how do you stop caring? How do you stop? And it's not that you stop caring for people. It's not that you stop being nice. You just have to learn the type of people to extend the extra caring for. Like, I love everybody. I love every human being as a human being. Now, I don't express that variation of love to everybody in the same way. Like, if somebody has gained my trust, has gained my closeness, then it's a little bit beyond just the basic human love. There is human love, there is associate love, there is companion love, there is friendship love, there is romantic love, there is family love, there is all types of love that spans through being a human. And, you know, but when it comes to, this is why I struggle with allowing people to get close to me, because I don't know if you have the capacity to withstand and mutually give back the type of love that I need and receive the type of love that I give. So, a lot of times people will do what they think that you want them to do. They will play to what you want to hear. They will play to what you want to see. They will play to what works best for winning you. And for myself, because I have learned that people do that, it makes me more sheltered with my love, because I don't want to love you on the premise of you doing things to please me, and that's not really you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some people, they will try to do everything, say everything right in order to make you happy, in order to please you. But internally, they are at war with themselves, because that's not who they really are. That's not what they really want. That's not how they really think. So they'll be at war with themselves because they're trying to please you. And a lot of times we get emotionally attached to people who want to please us in ways that's not natural to them. So when you begin to look at people for who they are, accept people for who they are. Sometimes I want to say accept people for what they show you, but sometimes, depending on the type of job you get, depending on, a lot of different factors, people might show you one thing and life be totally different. They may put on a front in order to create. And then once the creation is done, once everything that they was fronting about is done, then they're on their way to their real lifestyles. So you have to make sure that you're not getting emotionally attached and allowing your feelings to form towards things that's not real. Like, I dibble and dabble in entertainment. Like, I do a lot of work within the entertainment realm. So a lot of times I see people that are actors that are playing roles that may not be exposed to the public, that those are roles that they are playing in something that they're acting in. And then they have to live out those roles to keep the role and the nature of whatever it is that they're creating under wraps, so that, it's no spoilers. So in order for them to do that, they have to take on new characters. They have to, become somebody different, become somebody new. And when they become that person, a lot of times, especially on social media, people think that that's really their life. And then because they think that that's their life, they get attached emotionally to the ideal of what somebody is or what somebody does or who somebody is with. And then they end up being disappointed when they either realize that it didn't work, didn't last, or it was all for acting purposes. And, so a lot of what I have learned as far as detaching myself has come from me seeing the truth versus what people would like for you to believe. So now at this point in my life, I'm at a point to where I really don't believe anything until it's proven. And then once it's proven to be whatever it is, I go from there. Like, if somebody starts flirting with me, first off, I'm going to do a background check. I need to check out who you are for real, what you've been into prior to me noticing you. I need to know your mindset. I need to know, what I'm saying? It's certain things that I look at when somebody begins to flirt with me, or when somebody acts like they're attracted to me, especially via social media. But even within that, once you get to know the characteristics of a person, you have to give it time for them to show you who they really are. A lot of people will make you feel like they one type of way. The other day I did a video and I was talking about there's a lot of dykes out here that's married, that's really dyking. Bisexual women who marry men because they love that man or the benefits of that man, and then they really like females and they go after females even though they got a man. Now some of them do it together, but why did I say that? I can't even remember what I was saying that for. But when you see people that do all of these different things and have all of these different roles and all of these different sides, it teaches you to take people at face value and to not be surprised, and really to not emotionally attach. So over the course of me living in this house, I had started doing work on myself, and I started trying to figure out why I liked the guys that I liked. Or why, when people showed me their true colors, why did it hurt me so bad? And I realized that I was just emotionally attaching myself and my feelings to people that had not really proven themselves to really be for me. And if you aren't for me, then, I'm not going to attach to you. I'm not going to allow the feelings, the good feelings that I have about you based on you trying to impress me, to override the truth of you and then allow emotional attachment. So when I started living here, I started trying to break down, why am I like the way that I am? Why do I trust so easy? Why do I want people? And a lot of it stems from different type of abandonment issues over the course of my life, especially with my parents. So I know that I was easily emotionally attached to people because they gave me good feelings, and those good feelings made me feel like those people were really with me. But when I started evaluating who were really with me, who showed me they was with me versus who just said whatever they thought that I wanted to hear, it was a great difference. And it made me want to reserve the emotional attachments to people who actually proved they were with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to date a guy and we would be kicking it. He would do everything right. And I would be, oh my gosh, I might be in love. And I ain't gonna say I used to fall in love quick, but I wanted to be in love so bad. I wanted to be loved even more than being in love. I wanted to be loved so much that I would allow myself to get emotionally attached to people who weren't emotionally available. So when talking about emotional attachment, it's putting energy behind the feelings that you feel, in which allows you to feel connected to another person. So learning to detach, especially like women that need to end relationships. I'm kind of good at ending relationships, and this is kind of why this subject came about, because if somebody hurts me, especially if I am hurt to the point to where I'm no longer interested in being involved or connected to a person, I can cut a person off easy. And I think that's because of the relationships that I've had with my parents. And, I quit talking to my dad for a few years, even once we were cool. And after I had the dream that he was going to pass away, I did not want to overly communicate with him, because I didn't want that emotional attachment to somebody that I knew was going to eventually leave me. And this is a thing that I have with connecting to people. I don't want to make friends with somebody that's going to eventually betray me or leave me, or, do something to hurt me. Now, you cannot stop people from hurting you, but the less you try to make people into somebody that they're not, the less that they are likely to hurt you. So over the years, I've just learned, until I have a reason to care about you, I'm going to treat you like I treat everybody else. And that's kind of bad, because once you learn to not give a fuck about people, once you learn to not care, it's the hardest thing for me is to know when I should care, because the moment that you do something to make me feel like I'm wasting my time, or that me caring is more of a hindrance than a blessing, then I don't care no more. And I will totally block those and that type of emotions out, because the feelings that I'm getting doesn't resonate with the truth of who you are and how you're treating me. If you're not treating me right, then I have no reason to believe that there should be an emotional attachment connected to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So the way you keep your emotions in check is really by compartmentalizing people. Like, everybody doesn't need to be in your friend category. Everybody doesn't need to be in your companion category. Everybody does not need to be. Some people you just know. Some people are just associates. Some people are just, you know what I'm saying, people that you hey, hi, and bye with. But when you you get emotionally attached to people when you start telling your stories, when you start feeling a different type of passionate connection with people. And then you get to know them and you feel like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You can either get to know somebody and feel connected or disconnected. I try not to feel deeply connected to people. I purposely try not to. And the reason why is because, again, I used to want to be loved so much that I would take any nice gesture as, oh, they must love me. And I've learned that no, they don't love you until they can show you that they love you, until their words match their actions. So a lot of times I take shit for what it is. Like, if you show me that you are this type of way, then until you prove to me that it's something opposite, or is you just working, then I'm going to believe what you show me. And if I believe what you show me, then it'll help me to control my desire to want to be emotionally attached. So I just don't, take people serious. I take people for, what they show. And then if somebody comes into my life and proves some things, then I will allow myself to love them. But it's like, instead of me assuming that you're just working, or instead of me assuming that you didn't mean nothing by this, or instead of me assuming that you gotta love me because you sub post, or because you say nice things, or because you made one or two gestures, I just take it as you just doing that to get over, until you prove that you're not just doing it to get over. It's kind of crazy, but it helps me because, listen, if you hurt me, I will cut you off. I won't think twice about cutting you off, especially if you hurt me to a point of me wanting to cut you off. Now, there are instances where, people want you to be mad and project bitterness or madness on you, and you can respond in a mad way. But like I said in the video that I did yesterday, there are some things that's been going on recently that I want to be mad about, but I'm really just not that mad. And my biggest concern is that people will think I care when I stop caring, and that I'll just be doing things because of what comes with it, instead of because I really want to be involved in it. So for me, keeping my guards up to an extent is helpful, but knowing when to let them down also. Now, there's a danger of being emotionally detachable, to be able to just be like, nah, I don't feel nothing, or I don't want to feel nothing. So the things that I feel, I'm going to allow myself to not feel that. Now, that could be like, sometimes I'll go and look at all the things that you did to piss me off. I will remember. Sometimes I can't help but to think, like, there are certain people, like my ex-husband, whenever I deal with him, it's very rare, other than conversations about the children, I'm always somewhere or another reminded of how much he used to lie, and how much he used to try to belittle me, and, just do little shit that, you shouldn't do to somebody that you're supposed to quote unquote love. Whenever I converse with my mother, I talk to my mother now. I'm not as often as most people talk to their mothers, because my mother is not built like everybody else's mama. Like, it'd be crazy. People be like, oh, your mother is so special. Like, your mother is supposed to be so special. She's supposed to be like the person you can always depend on. I'm thinking like, nigga, I don't got that type of mama. Like, where those mamas come from? Because I don't got one of those. But because I know that I desire a deeper relationship than she's emotionally available for, I keep it short. I disconnect. I talk to her and then I forget about her. And I do it because I know that if I put too much of my heart in wanting a mother to mother me, then, or a parent, like somebody that I can rely on, depend on, talk to, confide in, then I will always be hurt, because she is incapable of giving me the type of relationship, the type of mother-daughter relationship that I desire, want, or need. So because of that, that really taught me, like, you can talk to people every day and not fuck with them like that. I mean, and not that you have something against them, but I just learned not to fuck with my mama like that. And if I can disassociate being close to my mother, then I can disassociate and stop fucking with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the person who birthed me. So it's easy for me to converse and talk to people, to kind of feel them out and see where they are, and still know that, nigga, you not really for me. You just for what comes with me. You know what I'm saying? You're not, because a lot of people over the years, they will text me or call me because they see something on social media, or they see something going on with me, or they think something going on, and now they're interested in what's going on, not because they actually love or miss me, but because they want to know and be in my business about what I'm into or what's going on. So I had to learn to, like, even if I answer the phone, it's cool in that moment, but when it's over, I know that you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that sometimes has to be my mindset, because I care too much. I love too deeply. I support people more than they support me. And because of that, I've learned to kind of draw back and figure out the type of people that deserve the things that I give out so naturally. So learning to balance is probably one of the hardest things. It's, you know, what I feel versus what I know, versus what I see, and then that's versus reality, because especially with social media, people can show you anything. They're going to present you with what they want you to see, whether it's them dating, whether it's them not dating, whether it's what they buy, whether it's what they eat, whether it's how much they make. They show you what they want you to see. And then the balance is learning what you see versus what you know. So what do I know to be fact? What can I prove without a doubt where other things may lack? So there are some things that you can prove. Like, I know I see that right there. I know that is present, but I also see what you're showing me. So what you're showing me and what I know exists in that realm are two different things. Now, that versus what I feel determines how my emotions will react. So I may be feeling like you love me, but if I see you doing something that's opposite of you loving me, then I know that you express that, but what I see is not what you're showing me. And what I feel is that you could potentially hurt me. So the reality is, I don't know you well enough to trust you. We haven't built a relationship good enough to not have doubts about your motives, intentions, and so on and so forth. So it's hard to learn the balance of what you see versus what you feel, because you may see something that's an optical illusion, or something that is designed to make you believe one thing, or designed to make the masses believe one thing, while something else is truly going on, and that's the reality. Now, what you know, like sometimes I be knowing shit that I don't know why I know, that I don't know how I know, but I just know the shit that I know. And that is a struggle for me, being kind of prophetic, because just because I think I know something does not mean that that's the way it's going to play out. I could see something for you, but if it doesn't resonate with you, then no matter what I see for you, that's not going to happen. So I have learned that just because I have a dream about something don't mean that it's going to turn out like that, because you may make a decision to make something else different that was not calculated in what my spirit sensed at the time of the dream. Now, normally the things that I dream happen the way that I see them in my dreams. However, I'm not closed-minded enough to say, oh, it has to go that way. I always think that anything can happen, because you can change your mind. You can do something different. let's say I envision myself with a person, marrying a person or befriending a person, and I see that in my dream, but when I wake up, they do something that's totally opposite. The only thing that I can do is watch it play out. The only thing that I can do is see what happens as time goes along, so that I begin to trust what I know versus what I see, or trusting the reality versus what I feel, because sometimes you can feel something that's not real, and you can't be emotionally overwhelmed by something that wasn't real just because you felt like it might be something that could be good for you, or something that could be, you know, whatever it is that you think it might be. You know, like, you have to learn to trust people for who they are, not for what you want them to be. People will show you what they want you to think that they are, but you have to really look at their patterns of behavior, look at their actions, look at who they are, how they are, and really just accept people for that. So, you know, in closing, I've kind of learned how to, I believe the best, I kind of assume the worst so that I'm not disappointed. So I believe that people have great intentions for me, but I watch their actions versus their words, and I assume the worst. I make an ass out of myself sometimes. I've made more of an ass out of myself by assuming better than what people actually were worth or could prove to be worth. Then if I consider all things, I hope for the best, but at the end of the day, I'm prepared for the worst to happen. So if you're going to hurt me, if you're going to cheat on me, if you're going to creep, then in my mind, honestly, I'm already prepared to handle whatever comes with it, because I know that at any time I might need to cut you off. I might need to, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to do something shiesty, I might need to be prepared for that. So I'm always prepared for the worst case scenario, even when I'm hoping for the best. And the reason why I do that is because I can never be sideswiped by a different reality if I'm always like, okay, here are the list of good things that can happen. Here are the list of bad things that happen. Here are how all of those things can get to either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you continually show me one thing, then, you know, I'm going to associate that with you. So because I've learned that if I act like, oh, they're doing this for me, and it's really not, it's going to hurt me. There's a lot of things that have been created that I was like, ooh, I know that they're doing this with this type of intention, or they're probably doing this for me, or they're probably doing this to make me happy. And then the whole time it be some bullshit that ain't got nothing to do, that ain't thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it for them. So instead of putting myself in a position to where I'm thinking that people are doing things because they love me, I started putting myself in a position to where they're doing it because that's what they want to do. And whatever they want to do, I want them to do, so I can see what they would rather do. So if people don't include you, it's because they don't want to include you. If people don't communicate, it's because they don't want to communicate. So instead of me thinking like, oh, they're doing this because they love me, no, they're doing this for whatever reason they're doing, and we'll see what the outcome is when whatever it is completed. So instead of me thinking that everybody loves me and everybody just, you know, is crazy about Kaci or for me, I just assume that nobody is really with me, that people might be against me, that I may think that are for me. Because if I channel my mind like that, it won't make me act differently towards you until you show me, to prove to me that my feelings, that what I thought could be, whether good or bad, is what it really is. So I just try to keep myself from getting disappointed by expecting people to do the worst thing to me. It helps me keep disassociated emotionally and detached. But this is the last thing. So I kind of sometimes give mixed signals, and maybe this should be another video, but sometimes I like the ideal of things, but I'm not really in love with the reality of things. It's just like I always talk about. You could fall in love with the ideal of a person and then meet that person and you be like, this motherfucker ain't shit like I wanted them to be. And oh my God, I didn't waste my time putting all this energy into this person or to this relationship. And then it's a dud. Like, I'm tired of duds. So, but I realize that I can kind of give mixed signals sometimes. But I'm going to make this another video just so that this one doesn't go over 41 minutes. But bye. Talk to you in a minute. Speaking Freedom presents Good Head Group, providing advanced spiritual studies and personal developmental insight. Brought to you by Love Gang and Speaking Freedom. We look forward to helping you grow in all the areas of your life. We hope that you find all the information needed for your growth. God bless. Please listen to all disclaimers provided. If you are currently under physician's care, please maintain that relationship. This is not intended to stop your current treatment plan. If you need physician care, please seek out medical attention. Please note all results are based on the individual's ability to adapt and adjust to any given environment and situation. We are not responsible for your results at Speaking Freedom. The life enhancement coaches at Speaking Freedom provide information to help you grow. You are responsible for maintaining that growth, taking on and then applying the information to your individual life as you deem needed and necessary. This may contain and explain explicit content. Please use parental discretion. For best results, you will need an open mind, the ability to research, and a balanced lifestyle.
Please join us daily for your inspiration and motivation.
We have the entire world to offer you at your fingertips. Your life enhancement coaching specialist. Thank you for choosing us to assist you in accomplishing your personal and professional goals. And have a beautiful day. In love, we trust. This is brought to you by Good Head Group, Love Gang, and Speaking Freedom. We thank God for you, and we love you.
Hi, I'm Kaci. Dr. Kaci to be exact, owner of Speaking Freedom LLC, Love Gang, and Good Head Group LLC. I am also a certified life coach and host of Speaking Freedom Radio and TV. Although I have recently became an ordained minister, please be aware that I am still me, raw and uncut the way God made me and allowed life to shape me. I pray and expect God to use me for people who can receive the way I communicate, as well as my delivery. I am not for those who are already saved, religious, or super deep. I am for the leaders, hustlers, and street influencers around the world, including pimps, killers, drug dealers, and working girls. I am sharing my experiences and perspective to help someone be inspired to be better. And for those who can identify with the various aspects of my mindset. My mindset alone does not determine the status of any active connections or current relationships that have not already been specifically addressed. Additionally, these recordings should not be taken personally if I have not already spoken to you about the topic or expressed that I have an issue. These recordings are a part of my life's work to document my experience, perspective, and to see how life has shaped me. My plan in using my stories publicly and socially is to encourage growth in those who can identify with the experiences and find inspiration in my life to heal and overcome the path that they've been set on, no matter what they face, as according to the purpose of their soul, until healing takes place. Despite the experiences that I may have had with any person, sometimes known and unknown, I hold no grudges, no hate, no bitterness, or any other ill feelings against anyone. I pray that your life is whole and very fruitful. I forgive you as I hope that you forgive me if I have wronged you or anyone that you know or anyone who listens to me. I pray that you have peace and extend the same grace to others. I have love for everyone, especially on a human level, despite flaws or experiences. But that doesn't mean that I will associate or be close to every human that I know or meet. I've experienced a very eventful life and truly believe that my mindset and story based on experiences could help those who identify with how I think and are looking for inspiration to grow further, go beyond hurt, and be great. I pray that these recordings bless you and your soul in every way and whatever way God has intended. Sending love and light to all. Thanks for listening. Achieve your dreams.